So we're here today just to talk a little bit about Unmasking Japan and Carter Associates itself. I guess the first thing to ask, Dom, is how did you end up in Japan with running a market research company?
Well, certainly something that I didn't plan. I'd always loved Japan, and I had an interest in Japan, especially as a teenager. So when I left school, it was a natural thing for me to study Japanese at university. And then I was working in Australia for a few years. I had no idea that I would end up in Japan, but the agency I was working for was opening an office in Japan, and I put my hand up for that. And I arrived at the beginning of '99. Well, I think we've been going since 2004, and in that time, we've grown quite strongly. I think that's off the base of, being able to get clients what they want, being able to get to the point quite succinctly with them, providing very clear feedback. I think something else that is very important, as a researcher, is to be curious, and we're always very curious about what our clients' problems and issues and challenges are, and very much I try to impart in everybody that works here that sense of curiosity and that sense of really wanting to get to the answer for our client. Well, I think always it's very important to talk with our clients and learn about what they want and what their needs are. But if I had to generalise, I would say if you're very new to the market here, there are going to be some things which are a little bit surprising or a little bit odd, or even a little bit misleading. So, for example, if you're in a focus group discussion situation and people appear to be positive about your concept or your idea, a Japanese person might look at the same group and say they were not so enthused about that. And so sort of to be able to provide that extra level of interpretation and analysis, I think is often very important. If you've been in the market for a while, I think it's important to realise that decision making in Japan happens quite differently to how it happens in the West. It's much less of a linear process than it is in Western decision-making settings. So using research data systematically in your planning processes can provide somewhat of a touchstone that the local managers and the foreign managers can come together on, and it's a point of commonality that they can use successfully to plan.
Where do you see the future of market research?
Well, I think that there are several different futures for market research. I think technology is becoming increasingly important, not only in the way that we interact with consumers through things like social networks and so forth, but also in the way that clients receive and interact with consumer data. So live dashboard systems, I think, are going to become increasingly important. In the qualitative research area, I think we will continue to see that being a very important way of interacting with consumers. It's very important to see them face to face and experience things with them. I don't see a move away from focus group discussions so much and from depth interviews, but we are augmenting that with sort of more experiential forms of research, like accompanied shopping, ethnographic type studies where we go inside people's houses and watch them clean their houses and so on and so forth. I think also there is a move away from perfect population representativeness, where clients, I think quite rightly, are starting to say that it's more important to have a conversation with influencers in the market, the section of the market that really has the opportunity to change the market, than it may be to have a perfect population representative sample.
Tell us a bit about Potentiate.
Well, Potentiate is the technology services arm of Carter Associates. It's a joint venture with an Australian company, also called Potentiate. Potentiate is in the business of providing marketing information systems to our clients. That can include interactive database software, tabulation software, to full 24/7 live dashboard systems, and a lot more besides.
Now, the Unmasking Japan girl, can you explain a bit about her?
Well, her mask comes from No theatre, which is a very ancient form of Japanese theatre where the main actors in the play wear masks. Now, because they wear masks, that means that you, as an audience member, you need to be able to perceive quite nuanced communication in the drama. So we don't expect our clients to be able to perceive nuanced cultural communication. So we see our job as, in a very friendly way, to remove that mask and say to our clients, this is what's going on, and this is what we think are potential directions for you to deal with what's going on.
And this is essentially the idea behind the Unmasking Japan series.
That's right. We want to show people things that are interesting and fun and quirky about the market, and that's all well and good. But there is also always a good social and cultural background to these kinds of trends that we're seeing, and we think people can carry those forward into understanding a lot of different areas about what they're doing in the market here.